Everybody, welcome back to the Todd Tony Show. We are super excited because tonight we have an old friend of ours. He's from Alliance, which you always hear us talking about on all the other channels. Tonight we have Joe Mehl, VP of Marketing, and we're going to learn about Joe and how he got there and all the fun stuff that I bet you guys were wondering about too.
Right. And so, Joe, I don't want to, I know we're going to talk about Alliance, and that's totally fine, but hey, let's learn a little bit about you.
Okay.
What got you into the RV space? What'd you do before? Getting into the RV space?
And why is your hair green? Let's go back to Florida.
Let's go. Yeah.
Florida. Okay.
Well,
Florida.
Okay. So you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing to do?
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, how about we do this? Born and raised Northern Indiana, Goshen to be specific. So been indirectly around RVs my entire life, whether I knew it or not. I had a lot of friends in the industry, actually, whether they worked the production side or if their dad worked the sales side or some variant of. And I avoided the RV industry. I didn't want to get into it. It didn't interest me. I wanted to escape and go to the big city and go to Florida and, do all the things that Midwest people tend to dream of, right? So graduated from IU, go Hoosiers. But I will say conflicted because it's the Notre Dame IU game tomorrow. So I guess no matter who wins, I'm proud.
Have the Hoosiers won anything since they made that movie?
No.
I was just wondering.
Playing basketball?
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, they haven't won anything. So
whoops.
It's cool to have this kind of season, and I'm a big fan of underdogs. So like deep down, I'm rooting for the Hoosiers, but I've been a Notre Dame fan my whole life by affiliation and going to the game since I was a little kid, and it's a cool experience. So I made sure I was going to be at the game.
Oh, so you're actually going?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be 19 degrees.
Shoot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That
I'm
sucks.
excited.
All right, so graduated, and then you hightailed it to Florida.
Hightailed it to Florida. Got married right before I hightailed it to Florida. My beautiful wife.
So was this the two of you went down to Florida?
Then I was actually working a contract job with Florida Power and Light because I knew how to. It's called GIS. It's Geographic Information Systems. I knew how to map using that, and I had to map all the vegetation along the major utility lines in Broward and Miami-Dade counties.
That's wild. So you actually lived down there when I lived down there. I was actually in Fort Myers. So you were just...
I love Fort Myers.
Yeah, Fort Myers. Well, back when I lived there, I lived there through like 2000, but in the 80s, it was so different. It was beautiful. 75 was just 2 lanes. Yeah. When I was really young, 75 didn't even go all the way. There was no Alligator Alley. It was 41. You had to take. That's why they call it the Tammy-Amy Trail.
Tammy-Amy Trail. Yeah.
The only way to get from Tampa to Miami was 41. But yeah, so you were down there with all the alligators, huh?
Oh yeah, lots of alligators. I lived in Plantation, Florida.
Yeah.
And this was a stint. This was about a year. I only made it about a year in Florida. Midwest boy here.
How long?
A year.
A year.
I mean, it's like a vacation.
Yeah, it was a nice little vacation after college. I'll say that. It was nice. Like I enjoyed my time, but
Road school.
I got to experience it, and then I got to really appreciate what I had home in Indiana.
Was your wife
6 foot
excited to go back home too?
Yeah, I mean, she's an Indiana girl too. I mean, she's from 2 hours where I'm from. She grew up in an even smaller town than I grew up in. So
Wow.
we were ready to come back and start our life up here, and she had her education degree, so she could kind of do anything she wanted. And I was the one that was, am I going to go like tech, or am I going to go sales, or am I going to go,
So you were the loose cannon.
I was the loose cannon, still am a little bit.
Right?
I think you found your place.
She sees potential in you.
Just took some time.
A little bit of potential, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so lived in Florida. Some crazy stories from Florida. I could talk to you guys just about that experience.
Go ahead.
There's lots of crazy stuff. I was blamed once for cracking the sidewalk for walking on it. That was fun.
So
I've done that a couple times.
we just gonna breeze by that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I pulled up, so I had to like tell people like we were going to cut down your trees and stuff because the utility lines were sparking because your vegetation's crossing all 3 feeders. And one time I like was parked probably a block or 2 down the road, and I was walking to this person's house, and I literally like took 1 step onto their property, and he came running out the door and was like, "See that crack right there? You just cracked my sidewalk. You owe me $100,000."
That was a nice sidewalk.
That was fun.
So,
So did you pay him? That's what I want to know.
What happened?
Yeah, no, we didn't pay him.
Just walked away. Because you're
apparently that crack
FPL.
has been documented by 100
yeah.
different FPL employees.
Well, I'll tell you what's nice about FPL there is that's it. It's not like here in Texas where you have Encore, but then you have
Encore.
all these other companies that no,
Encore services the lines.
it's FPL.
Yeah.
You like it or you don't. You want lights on or not.
Yeah.
You have 2 choices.
That's what we call communism. Everywhere else.
Communism.
Yeah, communism. You get.
I'll say that.
No
I'll say
choices.
that when I worked there, kindness went a long way. If you were nice, they were going to be nice back and try to help you as best they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they came out with like an LCEC or something later on. There might have been another company doing something, but yeah, back then you had 1 choice. That was it. That was
Yep.
it.
And we liked it. We only had 3 channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas, you guys are wild over there in Texas. You got like your own
called-
electrical grid.
It's called freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of cold comes your way and you don't know what to do.
That's true. I will say that. While we have freedom, we don't have the infrastructure we should. And actually, this year, this winter, they forecast we may have another event like we did during Snowvid.
Nice.
Now,
I love watching the rednecks get out there in their 4x4s. Like I lived in Cleveland for 3 years, so I learned how to drive in snow.
Yeah.
Right. They have no idea how to drive in snow here, and it's the funniest thing. You're on the highway. They like just get on the on ramp and then floor it, and then all of a sudden their truck's just turning sideways, and
Yeah.
you see the confusion in their eyes because I have it in 4-wheel drive. I should be stuck to the ground. Yeah, it's
Nope.
pretty wild. I'm
how it
sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, but
Trucks are lighter in the rear, so they're always going to spin.
I know. But there's a way you can. I didn't have a 4x4 in Cleveland. I was perfectly fine.
Let it snow. I've got tracks.
You got to ease into it, right?
Just turn into the way you're spinning. That's all that matters.
I just lift my hands and let Jesus take the wheel. I don't know
right.
about
Let
y'all.
Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
I just throw in some right
Love
round.
it. I love it.
All right, what else happened in Florida?
I had a wild story once. I was walking my dog around my apartment complex after work one night, and kept hearing this rifle go off. And I thought it was kind of weird because like Florida rifles that didn't really register for me for some reason. Indiana, hearing a rifle go off, it's deer season. It's some type of season here in Indiana. And I kind of walked that direction to kind of see what was going on. And it was a guy up on like the 3rd story balcony. He was shooting from his apartment complex. And this was back when Florida was like paying the DNR or Florida DNR or whatever they call it up there. Down there, we're paying people for python heads.
Yeah, people are letting them loose
like
in the Everglades.
$50 to $100 depending on the size of the head or something like that. And
That
this guy was shooting them, letting their bodies float. He'd run out there, go cut the heads off, and bring them back.
That's a good shot from the 3rd floor. That guy's probably from Texas and relocated to Florida for work
Or Indiana, yeah.
or Indiana. But if he was hitting them, I think.
If he's hitting them, he's not on a golf course.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Figure out what I just said there. Hey, speaking of guns, so you said in Indiana, you guys actually, do have guns. You got deer season and everything else. Get any problems with drones?
I don't have any problem. Not up here. We don't really have problems with drones.
I
I think people are more like curious about them and why are you flying it? Like,
Oh, no.
Lines.
Not the drones
What do you
you
mean?
fly. We're talking about the drones that
in
are
the
being
news.
flown that nobody knows what they are.
oh, you're talking about those ones that were
Yeah.
like circling that plane?
There's all kinds of weird stuff going on, right? We're trying to figure out where they're
man,
from.
there is.
I know down here we're all like, please, please, please bring your drones to Texas, right?
Yeah.
I have extra bullets.
Oh, yeah, shoot them. Yeah, they're flying in like the major cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knows what the government won't come out and say anything. So I'm pretty sure they're behind something. They're testing something.
Why don't they just
That's what I think,
right? And they
too.
just got to say something like, "Hey, it's us. No big deal."
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
for
But then the
national-
people would be like, tell us what it is, right? They have to.
Well, for national security,
Right.
we'd rather you guys just freak out and make your own conspiracy theories and post them on Instagram and Reddit.
Right?
That
I think
makes
that's what
more
they want,
sense.
though, because they want people just to be distracted by whatever they're doing, because no one knows what they're doing.
You know,
Right.
when, at the time of this taping, I bet you it could have been that 15 billion page bill that they were trying to pass that has their own raises
Let me
included.
get you over here
Let's
with
throw
the drones.
some drones in the air. You're probably right, Joe.
Pay no attention to the
Let's
man
put some
behind the
drones
curtain.
in the air while we give ourselves a raise.
It's like that. It's just a magician. It's just a magic trick. They're like, hey, look over here at this fancy weird thing. Why they do something over here?
Yeah,
Well, I don't
Yep.
even know if they have to do that anymore. They just flat out just tell you,
they just lie to you.
nope,
Yeah.
we're gonna take our own race.
All right. So where we at? You're in Florida.
Yeah,
you
so
moved
Florida,
back.
Shooting
rifles, pythons.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was in Florida for about a year, and then me and my wife decided to come back home. We were a little homesick. We're Hoosiers through and through. Came home. My wife's family's 2 hours from where we live. My family's 30, 40 minutes from where I live. I honestly, like I said earlier, was trying to avoid the RV industry, but it kind of found me because I ended up in the agency world. So developing websites, apps, all that kind of stuff. And then went to a different agency where I had a little bit of stake in and started doing more creative marketing, from like holistic branding, like actually developing the logos, the colors, doing everything. Eventually, over the course of like 3 years, I signed Forest River as a client. We launched the product No Boundaries. I don't know if you guys know that
Oh, yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, me and a couple of guys at Forest River and the team that I worked with in the agency. We launched that product, and it was very successful. It was very cool. It was one of the coolest launches the industry's seen in a while. Developed a really good relationship, and I'm sure you guys kind of know this is going. The RV industry is a very intimate like industry. It's all
Incestuous.
relationship
Incestuous.
based. It's trust based, knowing other humans. It's not like people don't love to have virtual meetings. They want to see you in person. They want to touch and feel the product. Very similar to like customers when they're buying an RV. They don't just want to make a decision online without walking through, touching, feeling, sitting in the couch. So one thing led to another. I was at Forest River for almost 4 years, and they went from having I think they had like 3 marketing people throughout the whole entire company. And remember, they're almost a $1 billion company. Had a lot of success, was a change agent, was really pushing a lot. I had a lot of people that loved it. I had a lot of people that didn't love it. But I stayed true to who I am. And that's, always push the status quo, never settle. It's always going to change. Be ready for what's coming. And my North Star is seek attention. And because that's what marketing is. And you got to find that attention, and then figure out how you can communicate the attention to those audiences. Right. And that's where the different mediums come in. So you got your blogs, you got your podcasts, you got your social, you got your print, and then putting that all together in a vision that makes sense to your different, cohorts or audiences.
Right on. So how did you meet the Coleys?
Oh,
Or the Bradys.
Boys.
The Coleys.
Yeah, Ryan
The Coleys.
The Walmarts,
honestly,
the Targets, the
So-
Bradys.
The Facebooks.
I think I'm good. The guy that introduced me to him was a Forest River guy. I was invited to a dealer dinner one night, and I decided to go say hi to some, because it was when COVID was going on, and like a lot of the restaurants were closed, but he was like, hey, I'm going to have people over and I'll cook all the food and we can have this dealer dinner together. And the Brady boys ended up showing up because I guess they lived in the neighborhood, or one of them did. I don't know if it was Coley or Ryan. And really, I'd never met them before. I knew who they were because Alliance was kind of shaking things up like right then and there. This was like late 2021-ish, or maybe early 2021. And sat in between Ryan and Coley at that dinner. First time meeting them in person. I'd seen them on social and stuff. And we actually hit it off talking about cryptocurrency. I'd been into crypto since like 2012, and we were kind of showing each other our, the growth that we've had, because this was during the COVID
Showing each other
days,
your coins.
showing each other our coins, and
I just wanted to take
really
that
didn't think
sentence
much of the conversation. It was a good dinner. It was productive. Made some good relationships with the dealers and went my own way. And randomly, then 2.5 years later, I get a call from my sister. Actually went to high school with Jeremiah Dumka, who's our VP of sales.
Yep.
And so I've known Jeremiah my entire life because he would kind of hang out and I'd see him. And so not like knew him well, but he was around. So I knew who he was pretty early in life.
So he didn't hit it off with your sister, is what you're saying.
I actually bought his house from him when I moved back to Indiana too. So here we go, whole circle, right? Small world.
Wow.
So moved back to Indiana, like I said, and then I bought Jeremiah Dumka's house. That was the first time I'd seen Jeremiah in 15 to 18 years. And then was at Forest River. This is now 2022, 2022. They call me, Jeremiah calls me and says, hey, how happy are you at Forest River? And I was literally getting ready to coach my kid's soccer team. This is like 5-6 o'clock at night, something like that. And I'm like, man, I'm really happy. Like, I got a great team underneath me. We're doing a lot of cool things. We got some big visions we're executing. And he's like, oh, okay, man, just checking. And then I hung up the phone, didn't think much of it, and told my wife about it like 10 minutes later. And she's like, you should call him back. And I was like, well, okay, I'll call him back and we'll get dinner, or we'll get like a lunch or dinner together. And I don't remember what we did. And we ended up meeting, and one thing led to another. Met Coley, met Ryan, met some of the other guys at Alliance, and just my confidence grew in their vision and what they saw. And a lot of the frustrations that I had was, Forest River is a giant ship and they make good product, but sometimes communication can be hard there and translating all the different things that go on. And that was ultimately what led me to Alliance was, it's one campus, and I reported to one person, Coley, and it just made things seem, so much easier. Workload grew like crazy, but I didn't have to go through as many steps, and I had a lot more trust in my vision. So I was able to just go, because I had a lot of people at Forest River that loved what I did, and I had a lot of people at Forest River that hated what I did. Because I don't settle for the status quo ever.
Never?
Ever.
I mean, I've seen some stuff out. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. See, I do settle, and we just put as much crap out as possible.
That's
Just
right.
throw what's at the wall and see
you
what
guys
sticks.
are awesome. The podcast is great. You guys doing RV Unplugged, like that's I would say that's not settling for the status
No,
quo.
we're just kidding. We do put our best foot forward, and we try to come up with ideas and see what works.
Yeah.
It really depends on how it lands.
Yep.
And what's up
absolutely.
here doesn't always translate to what's happening out
I
there, But I will say this, watching Alliance grow has been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And seeing the way that the customers have in alliance with Alliance, it's
Are we air quoting now?
well, it's the pun, Alliance. They do, because a lot
You
of
got to join an alliance, right?
yeah, a lot of companies come out and say, we are people first, we are customer centric, and but they don't really act that way. It's a good tagline.
Our people versus your people. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really. But when you look at what Alliance does, they really do put the people in place to take care of their customers. They have put the events on. They really do care. And so I bet you it's been interesting watching the progression, watching the company grow, being with them.
It's I always say the best thing I can explain it to is having been from, FPL to, I had a short little stint in a nonprofit, and to production, to Forest River, to Alliance. Alliance is the closest thing to a fine-tuned engine that a team I've ever been part of. Like, everyone is firing on the same cylinder. When there's any type of mishap, we're communicating about it, and we're talking about how can we make it better. what happened to cause this issue, and I can attest personally how good people Ryan and Coley are, and the leadership team there at Alliance. We just sent a press release out literally today, and we posted all over our socials, where Ryan and Coley and the leadership decided.
Oh yeah, the bonus. Yeah,
$5,000 bonuses every 5 years. So this was 5 years of Alliance's history. So the first set of employees received their $5,000 bonus.
And we've known the Alliance for 5 years.
So at 10 years, will it be 10,000? Yeah. Was that question asked?
Well, it's working for them, right? Not knowing them.
Well, I'll tell you,
we're all allies. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. We are all allies.
The Bradys have been very, very good to us, in support and everything. They've been amazing partners.
They're good people. They're good leaders. They're good bosses. And I can tell you, they back up everything they say about culture. It's all about having fun, and something that I kind of pride myself on. I don't know if I pride it, but I'm not a perfect human. No one is, right? And when something isn't perfect, they're not judging the perfect. They're judging. I can't even say they're judging. They're like, how can we help you do better? What do you need to do better?
What's that like?
Yeah. And it's really cool. And they walk out into the plants every day, and people know them, and they know all the names of each production person. It's hard to know, 700 employees, but the key people that each plant that they need to see, and they walk through and say hi and do cool things. I mean, we give out so much swag too. We load these people up with hats and shirts and make sure that they feel taken care of. So no, I actually got one more cool thing I want to tell about Ryan and Coley.
Sure.
That I think is really cool. They were given the opportunity to someone gave them a couple tickets to this game. I think it was 8 or 9 tickets or something like that. And they decided to give the tickets away to Alliance employees who are Notre Dame fans. And they gave them away to some production people who are just huge, production team members who are just huge Notre Dame fans. And I just thought that was so freaking cool. They're also, we come up on a shutdown here shortly. Production shutdown. So we keep a skeleton crew around to kind of do inventory and things like that. But we're going to pay our production team members premiums for insurance during that shutdown time. So that way, when they come back, they don't have to worry about catching up on their premiums.
Wow. That's really cool.
That's cool. Speaking of shutdown.
Well, yeah, I think, well,
just little things that add up that you don't think about.
Before you get to that, he got me on that.
All right.
Uh-oh.
But when you mentioned shutdown, I was like,
boom, there we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of shutdown, we'll just kind of keep this personal, but would you sign on to something where not only do you disagree with everything, not everything in it, but there's a lot of stuff in there that would go against you, or would you keep would you go ahead and shut down, understanding that there's going to be a little bit of pain, but your morals or whatever your convictions, you're saying, nope, I'm not going to do it. What would you do? Would you sell out, or would you shut down?
Shut down the production?
The country.
The country.
Oh, the country? Oh, you're talking about you're talking bigger picture than outside Alliance.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Remember I told you, there's more than just Alliance?
I was still inside Alliance.
He was just on X before we got on here, so he's fuming about this.
Oh, you were scrolling X. I see what you're doing. Okay. President Elon, you mean?
Right, and I'm telling you, we got some people in there.
You want to talk conspiracies? It's X. Woof.
Yeah. You can find a little bit of everything on X, but I do find that
better than TikTok.
Oh my gosh. For news, I think it's one of the more balanced one, but it does depend on your algorithm, your personal algorithm. So if you're out there looking at car wrecks all the time, that's all you're going to see. But
yeah,
that's kind of cool though. I mean, it's kind of like when you got a Pandora station.
No, they show some stuff.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, you got a Pandora station, you spend years building it, and then they want to throw something new in there, and no, I don't want that. This is my channel.
I don't like Barbie Girl.
That's right.
I don't want to hear that song.
Just because I have it in a different channel doesn't mean you bring it over to this channel.
Right.
So
I like getting random stuff that I haven't seen before. 'Cause
Man,
it might change my opinion.
yeah, have you ever heard the band called Volbeat?
oh, here
No.
we go.
Man, that came up on my tonal. Do you have a tonal?
No, I have Spotify.
Okay, well, a tonal is a piece of exercise equipment that I
Oh.
use 4 times a week. And you can play either Apple Music or they have the tonal radio. And then all of a sudden it played, because I listen to hard rock when I work out. And all of a sudden they played this band called Volbeat. It's a Danish metal band. And I recommend everybody, if you like rock, look up Volbeat, Volbeat. You should check it out. Man,
Okay.
unbelievable. They know how to ride a hook, those Danish people.
I'm
I'm telling you.
always looking for good music while I go to the gym in the morning.
I mean, remember he's from Indiana, so he's got more of the Amish hard rock. He's listening.
The Amish.
What kind of music do you listen to? Is it
I want you guys to guess it. You're not going to guess it.
Amish hits?
Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al Yankovic, Amish Paradise.
Let's see. Let's see. What year were you born?
I'm gonna say bluegrass.
What year was I
country.
born?
Yeah.
88.
88.
Oh,
Man, that was a
okay.
good year.
So I'm willing to bet you're into. You probably like rap.
He's a '90s child.
Yeah.
Love rap.
Yeah. So during workout, what do you listen to?
I would say mostly rap. It depends on my mood too.
Nailed
Like if
it.
I need to do like a heavy lift where I'm like really just trying to get the sweat going and trying to make myself really hurt for the next couple of days.
Sure.
Honestly, it's like Linkin Park. That kind
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff.
Have you heard the
There you
new
go.
Linkin Park yet with the female?
I have.
She's not bad.
I'm a little biased towards Chester, obviously,
course.
having grown up with them.
Yep. Yeah.
But I don't think Emily's bad. It's
I
just a
feel
little
the same
different.
way
I have to
about-
get used to it.
I feel the same way about Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah. Also, a big fan of Sum 41. Not believe it or not, I
Yeah.
love Sum 41.
we
big fan of
my
them.
band used to cover Sum 41. Yeah.
There's some cool remixes people are making today where they're like taking like Sum 41 and like Blink 182 and mixing it with like Lil Wayne and like all these different bands, or like hip hop meets rock, like punk rock.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah. Ooh.
That'd be kind of cool. So since we're in the RV sphere and we're talking RV industry, and before we get into
Why you're here?
yeah, the reason why
30
you're here.
minutes into it.
Here, real quick, we're looming on a potential event with tariffs.
Okay.
What is your thought like with the RV industry? We know that yes, they're USA made, but a lot of parts they do come over from overseas.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So tariffs, I mean, obviously this is my personal belief, not the
Sure.
beliefs of Alliance as
Absolutely.
a whole. But obviously I believe that President Trump was onto something about bringing jobs back to America, production back to America, parts and pieces back to America. Like I believe that could really help reduce dependency on other countries. But you got to build that infrastructure and you got to build all those different things that people need that, unfortunately other countries like China and Venezuela and Vietnam and those places have, and they can do it cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, it needs to be
so
stepped. It can't
there
be
needs to be
instant.
steps. Absolutely. You have to figure out, you can't just say, 1,000% tariff or 100% tariff, whatever it's going to be. And I mean, that's ultimately going to cost the American people money at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of
I think a
research that I've
lot.
done.
I think a lot of what's going to happen is you can see he's already threatening people that if they're planning to build outside, you're going to see those tariffs. So
Yeah.
go ahead and build inside.
Yeah.
And I think there might be some time restrictions. Hey, you have a couple years to build your infrastructure, and then after that,
But there's
boing.
certain things, whether it's industries as a whole or even components that are simply not manufactured here
I mean, there's
Correct.
companies
whatsoever.
I have a really good example for you guys. So
Perfect.
So it doesn't necessarily affect Alliance, but it does affect a huge portion of the industry as the RV industry. So there's a special type of tree in, I believe it's Indonesia, that actually it's called Luan wood. I think it's called a Luan tree. And that wood is like 80% more resistant to like rot, mold, mildew, stuff like that. but it only grows in Indonesia, and they farm this tree, right? It's a fast growing species, kind of like a palm, from my understanding. And that is what a lot of, what we refer to as like stick and tin in the industry, where it's wood, screws, nails, and then metal outside. That wood that goes in it is typically the sidewalls are that Luan wood that can't grow in America. How do you do that? So and that's something that helps the RV industry, because it's more rot, mold, mildew resistant, bugs. Has some type of resistance to bugs, from my understanding of the product. But how do you get that to America? So there has to be some level of
and that's I mean, that's what I want to talk about, is the part of the hypocrisy that we experience is a lot of people will claim USA made, but they don't want to pay USA prices, because now you have to hire someone and make a good wage for them to produce.
I think that's what the lobbies are there for. They'll go and say, hey, this is only available in this country.
Yep.
It's not fair to do that, but it's, there's other companies that make certain products that only come from overseas.
Correct.
And are installed here. Does it make sense for those companies? I don't know if we want to mention them here, but do they have factories here? Can they make those air conditioners and refrigerators here?
Yeah.
Well, and even, and I think it's just certain countries, because air conditioners, compressors are made in Mexico. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this obviously time will tell.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with the tariff idea. But I do believe, like you said, there probably should be some steps involved in deeper looks at what will really affect it and what really does need to be brought here.
Yeah.
And can scale, right?
I mean, I think Harley Davidson needs to come back here. Plain and simple. Just throwing a...
Yeah, there you go. That's true. But yeah, I think there's a lot of smart people that have been, that are going to be tasked with this.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to understand. And if
I agree.
Yeah, and I think there's a whole RVIA out there that's the whole purpose is to lobby for these changes and these things. So when those things come up, there's at least a process in place to make sure that prices don't go too loony.
1.2 was it trillion dollars that the outdoor RV industry...
Is it trillion?
I think it's 1.2, 1.3 trillion GDP.
Jeez.
Even though we feel it's only like 11, 12 million households, it's a high ticket item.
It's also like 5-6 million jobs in America.
Yeah.
Man.
So we actually have a lobbyist in almost every single category in government, because $1.2 trillion.
We have one in the Texas RV Association.
I just had a meeting with them.
Yeah. So, all right. So with Alliance, we've been huge fans of Alliance from, I think the first show that I saw them at was an FMCA in Georgia years ago when they were first coming out. And I met Coley there. And he walked me through, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. A lot of great stuff. This is great. And he was talking about the whole customer, all about the customer then. And I was like, yeah. You guys are new. Wait till you grow up and, see what pain feels like. And then, things change. But that hasn't changed. They're the same people making the better products. You guys keep improving. You got the a new product line coming out.
Benchmark.
And the destination trailers.
Now, I'm starting to see a lot more people out there pulling destination trailers around.
So let's define what is a destination trailer?
Yeah, so Benchmark. I mean, I'm do a little marketing, but Benchmark.
Well, just don't get boring.
Benchmark is actually going to be the name of Alliance. We were going to be called Benchmark RV.
Really?
That's why when you pull into Alliance, you're on Benchmark Drive.
Oh man, y'all dodged a bullet there. Alliance is so much cooler.
Oh, Alliance is. Oh, I say that all the time when they bring the story up. I'm like, oh, Alliance is way better. But Benchmark as a destination trailer is cool.
Yeah. Because you finally
said it,
reached
Ryan
it.
Brady, he's always saying, we're setting the benchmark for luxury. So yeah, we were actually. It was about a year ago. We were at, I guess a little over a year ago. We were at the Houston RV show. Austin RV show.
Austin.
One of the Texas RV
Sure.
shows. There's so many down there. And we drove by a park, and it was full of destination trailers. And RVIA had just come out and said something like destination trailers are up 2,600% or something like that. And we were sitting in the Uber, and we were like, we probably should do a destination trailer. I think it's time. And then we started bouncing around names and getting product development and floor plans and engineering. And we decided that, we want it to be similar to like a Paradigm, but a little bit more residential for like permanent stay. Whereas a Paradigm's built to be more mobile, and destinations are more of that like residential, for lack of better words, less traveled, not as mobile. They're going to have less mobility. But if you do need to move it, say there's a hurricane coming, you can move it safely. So that's kind of the thought process. And we took a lot of time, and we actually put a little small, I want to say, customer study group together. And we were like, what are some of the things that don't exist in this space? And what are some things you'd like to see in this, that whole customer driven mindset? And just talk to this small key group of RVers, real RVers, allies and non-allies. And then that's how Benchmark was developed. So, washer dryer standard, flush floors, a lot of the key features that already exist in Alliance got brought over because they're just key features that customers have come to love and expect from Alliance. But, having two furnaces, 30,000 BTU furnaces, you got 60,000 BTUs of furnace. You got 3 15K ACs in there. Our lofts are actually the highest in the industry right now at 36 inches.
Wow.
So I can sit up there comfortably as a full-grown adult. You got 4 smart TVs in that thing. So you're talking, you're gonna stay, and you're gonna be able to be comfortable.
So the floor plans that have been coming out with these destination trailers, they're really, really cool looking. It's like you have bedrooms, and then you make a quick right, and then there's a staircase. Hey, there's another bedroom. It's pretty wild. It's because for the longest time it was like, yeah, I've seen that floor plan and all these other ones. It's just, there's only so much you can do in 399 square feet.
Correct.
But a lot of the new stuff coming out is pretty freaking unique.
Getting creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are
AC technology, getting the ACs a little bit lower profile, still packing the punch and being effective, and being able to work on the chassis designs to work them, beef them up a little bit is really cool to watch, and it's exciting to be part of the RV industry at this time.
So obviously, then does the total weight, the GVRW, go up on these things versus say a Paradigm, or are they still roughly the same weight?
So I want to say I would say that roughly the same weight. The GVWR on a Benchmark, I think, is like 15,000 approximately. A Paradigm's approximately 15,000. The big difference, though, is you got a fifth wheel
versus
bumper. Travel trailer bumper pull, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit. Yeah, you don't have that rise there. All right. I know you can't speak to all jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Say that. Yeah.
Admonish.
That's right. Admonish us. So I guess what we're seeing is a rise in, say, kind of the tiny home, or in that permanent mobile type area out there is, these are a lot easier to put on property. Simply because they don't have to follow code. Not that they don't follow code, but there's a lot less code when it comes to these things.
It's our code.
Yeah. So I guess my question is have you guys seen anything, because you guys are building these for kind of a longer term stay? Yep. Are there any considerations out there when it comes to the destination trailers that who may be interested in it, that you go, hey, we did see this out there. It may not be in all jurisdictions, but
versus like a tiny home, because you can't
kind of in the same,
because you can't really tow a tiny home around. You got to hire somebody. Well, you could with your truck, not mine. But then the tiny home is drywall. So every time you take
So
somewhere,
they're
it cracks.
built different, right?
Yeah.
So the construction style is different. Like imagine picking up your house and moving it. Like things are gonna break.
Yeah, every time.
I'm guessing. Let me think through what you said. Are you asking if we're going to get into tiny home construction?
No. I'm just saying that these are kind of in that same vein where someone's going to stay in it more long term, right?
Yeah.
Destination trailer. So what I'm saying is in the tiny home community, it's easier to put on property, right?
Yep.
Because it's sub-paneled. You just got to have septic and electricity and water. Do you guys, since you're now jumping into this destination trailer area, have you guys seen any considerations that maybe a potential client, customer, looking at this going, by the way, if you are looking at putting this here long term, here's a few things to think about
Instead of a tiny home?
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have jumped into it if we didn't see some type of potential in customer mindset shift and lifestyle shifts. I would say that's probably one of the bigger reasons is, the home market went crazy with prices, right?
Ridiculous.
And availability is scarce.
Yeah.
If you're looking to build a house, I mean, up here in this area, a 3,500 square foot house is probably $700,000 right now.
Yeah. That's $1 million house here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, even buying I say used house, but like a house that's built and has been lived in and
a high mileage house,
a great house, but it's probably $300,000 for a 2,500 square foot house, right? Like the housing market's crazy. And a lot of people with, obviously COVID came and that made some shifts in like the remote work lifestyle and people were able to escape and maybe travel isn't for them. But they want to be able to have like a beachfront property, but they can't afford it, or a lakefront property or a mountain view property, but they can't afford that, $1 million house. But hey, look, there's a plot of land over here that costs $50,000. If we go buy $100,000 trailer, that's only $150,000 in, right? Significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
So people are starting to do the math and think about those kind of things. I'm heavily considering buying a lake property and putting a cement pad, throw a septic in there and buy a benchmark and park it there, right?
Nice.
It's so much better than having to build a lake house and then I'll have way more money to get a fancy boat, right? Like
all the toys.
Yeah.
Well, now tell me about is the wall construction different than the paradigm?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you're taking the wall construction, you're going to have a wall that's actually built to withstand the vibrations, right? Like the way we construct these walls using weld points at specific locations, sturdy points, and then doing the lamination process we do is more secure than just putting a nail into drywall. Where if you put a nail into drywall and then go down the road, that nail's going to shake out, right? And the whole drywall is going to go boom. Where the process that we do actually keeps everything together in the wall.
It bonds it.
So it keeps, as this thing's vibrating and having an earthquake every day going down the road, an RV is much more successful in staying together than a home would be going down the road like a tiny house. And obviously they have to put it on for transport. But if you look at some of the videos that like these tiny homes, when they get delivered, there's a lot of maintenance that's required once they get put down.
Oh, there's a check sheet that you have to go through. You point out all the cracks, stuff that wasn't done right.
Yeah, we had our tiny home delivered to our house, and it was like every crack was just everywhere, cracks everywhere. We had to come back, and all they did was bring in like a tube of toothpaste and just filled it all in.
Yeah.
He didn't really do a great job. Should we touch on the RV frame thing?
So here's my question. Since this is going to be here long term, and this is something that we experienced whenever we were doing FEMA work, over time, whenever you put down an RV and it sits there for a while, and the tires themselves, being part of the chassis, has to go through extreme heat, extreme cold, you're going to see that there's going to be pressure lost in the tires. Now, if this RV is not moving because it's a destination trailer, one of the things you want to think about, maybe to your clientele, is let them know, hey, from time to time, even though you may have landing gear down, if the tires are still holding up some of the weight, whenever they lose the air, you're going to get some sagging that takes place, and you're going to see doors and whatnot that won't close all the way. So it's kind of a good point. Something to
take off your tires.
Yeah. No, I mean, what we're going to recommend and we're going to try to talk on in like some of our literature is like, if you are keeping this trailer parked somewhere long, just like if a trailer were to sit on a dealer's lot and it becomes what we consider an aged unit, you got to check the tire pressure. You got to look at the tire condition. You got to make sure things are okay. You got to move it. Like, that's why at dealerships you'll see trailers moving all the time, because sometimes they want to just keep the tires fresh and help redistribute that and rotate the tires. And also, if it's going to sit in one position for a long time, you want to check the suspension system and things like that, because if it's just sitting there, things can go wrong still. It still requires maintenance. It is something, everything requires maintenance. Your body requires maintenance. So definitely check the tire pressure. Definitely look at the suspension. Definitely make sure tire pressure is solid and the suspension system's not giving. I would say, if you can and you do have the ability to hook up and do a little lap and make sure that the tires are moving, you're good to go. I've also seen, I looked up some things that people do, and I've seen people actually jack the trailer up and literally like just spin the tire and then jack the trailer down.
Yeah, and certain things like that. Put it on wood, the tires. But we had a situation where one of our team members, still doing some of the maintenance for FEMA, received a frantic call. FEMA received a frantic call because the survivor, typically what we call someone who's FEMA trailer or whatnot, they're stuck inside the RV. The door will not open.
Oh no.
Because, of course, they lost pressure in the tires, and they had set them up on the extreme ends, the front and the back. It was just a tire pressure thing, and you get it back up, and the door opened up just fine. But just think of it, if you're inside and you're like, I can't get out.
Yeah, I could imagine that'd be so frustrating.
Yeah. So it's things we don't think about, because a lot of people think, why don't they build these trailers to be permanent, structures? I'm like, because it's a trailer.
It's a trailer, yeah.
The trailer.
Those things.
So
at the end of the day, it still is a trailer.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about frames?
Let's talk about frames.
Go ahead.
Oh, I did. I said, hey, I know it's on the same chassis, as the Paradigm.
Is it?
No, well, it's a different. I mean, it's still.
I thought it's a trailer.
It is a Lippert chassis, so I'll say it's Lippert. But the one thing that we've always done from day one with Lippert, specifically what Lippert has always offered, is, hey, your engineers work with our engineers and make sure that the rigidity of the frame is not structurally threatened. So that's why we do things a little different on the Paradigm, where we have that torsion tube and we have the welded V brackets and the thicker shackle kits, and really to help reduce the amount of vibrations that get into the walls themselves. We're introducing that new TCS system on Paradigm. I know it's not benchmark, but we did a lot of significant testing on that TCS and Helix pin box with Lippert, and I'm impressed. It's impressive. We had our first customer was able to get his hands on one and drove it from the Midwest here all the way to Southern California, and said it was the best thing he's ever towed in his life.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's definitely exciting. And let's talk about frames. Obviously that was a big topic of discussion for a long time in the industry.
It got hot there for a little bit.
Yeah.
It got real hot there. It's definitely cooled off, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not gone. But I think the one thing that, Alliance did, kudos to Ryan and Coley's leadership, is, they made sure that when they work with the engineers that wasn't something that was going to happen. And we'll never admit that we build a perfect RV, but we're going to take care of the customer through the life of the coach and make sure that they feel cared for. Do the right thing is our mission statement here at Alliance. I knock on wood, we really haven't had much on our end of things, but the frame thing is interesting I looked at it more from the outside than I did from like an inside perspective, because obviously like one company was really being blamed for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, two companies together, but they obviously work together.
He said, she said, and no one will ever know.
Yeah, and they from my point of view, they kind of pointed fingers at each other.
Sure.
Well, one kind of just stayed quiet for a really long time, which
Too long.
I don't believe was the right move from my marketing perspective, just my personal beliefs.
It's like the government and the drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it.
Back to that.
Just let us
Talk
know.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in communication and being honest and transparent. And I think that there was a little mishap there, but I do think the industry grew from this. I don't think it's going to be one of those issues that plagues the industry. You know, for a long time, remember the dreaded China bomb?
The tires.
The tires.
That
That was a big deal for a long time.
Because when they went, they were like bombs.
Switched. You know, you don't find anything but like Goodyear and Cooper, and you find all these like American-made strong tires on these RVs now, because the industry grew from it. Right,
I
it
would
was a
still
big
take
issue
those
that caused
off and
problems.
put on a saloon any day of the week.
Unless you're what?
I said I would still take those off and put a saloon tire on any day of the week.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things, they're just better. You know, so I hate to say it, saloon tires out of China or Canada, whatever you want to call it.
This segment brought to you by Saloon.
I'm just saying.
Hey.
I just want to throw that in there and see if
We'll have a little wheel rolling across the screen. Saloon.
we get some hate mail.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I actually never heard of the brand, but you know that is great to hear that, you know, the industry, because you know the industry does get a bad rap. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's unfortunate. I'll say that.
It is, but I think it's companies like Alliance that really kind of bring that optimism back to the customer's buying experience, because they're constantly trying to do the right thing. And if you go to an Alliance rally, you're just what's the word I'm looking for? Engrossed. You're just thrown into this group of support and love.
You're in a community
happiness.
that everyone has a similar mindset.
Community. Thank you, Joe.
Like you're an ally.
Yep.
It's like you're an ally.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're an ally.
A fam ally.
Fam
I gotta
ally.
admit, not the best thing that I loved saying. Fam ally.
Right.
Time out.
That wasn't yours, was it?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I didn't think so. Like, come on, Joe.
I came up with join the alliance.
That's perfect. Clear,
It was-
concise, to the point.
How about the ally?
It's to the point. You get it.
All right, who came up
I
with
just have to make sure I don't say rebel alliance.
right?
Oh, no, you lost half your audience. You know that, right?
Anyways, who came out with Fam Alley?
I think it was some of the actually allies.
It was at the like first or second rally. A couple of the allies came up with it, and they love it.
Oh, now I feel bad.
We were at the second, right?
I love it.
We were at
the second one, I think.
Here's the thing. I love it because our allies love it.
Yes.
But I didn't come up with it. I'll say that.
Yeah. It's just hard for me to say.
Fam Alley. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
I did come up with alligators. That was me.
You're the alligator? Yeah.
I'm the alligator.
What's with all the pineapples at your rallies? Can we talk about that?
And why are they upside
We
down?
don't talk about that, okay? I told you.
It's a community. They're into sharing.
It is a community, yeah. I will say though, I was invited to a whiskey or a bourbon tasting.
Bourbon tasting? Yeah.
Yeah, man, they are hardcore. That Fam Alley, holy smokes! I looked over and I was like, I can't go. You know,
Charles
not
Tire, man.
because I know my limits. You know, and when I start, I have no brake pedal. So when I start, I don't stop until you see Todd carrying me like the scene in The Bodyguard out the door.
Yeah.
I'm just no way.
I'll say the rally is a particularly challenging time because like you're there for work, but you're also there to have a good time and interact with your customers, right? But man, I need to wake up the next day at like 7 o'clock. I don't want to wake up at noon.
I think those rallies are actually my favorite ones.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun to go to. I love it was really awesome of you guys. When season 2 of Unplugged, you guys opened the doors and got the screen, and that was really fun. You guys have just been really.
I have
great
an
partners.
idea for this year. You guys want to do something cool?
Forgot to invite me, but it was.
You guys want to do a live podcast from our rally?
If we're up there,
Yeah.
we'll have to knock the set down and bring it. But it's just 2x4s.
Just ship it to Alliance. We'll make it get done.
Yeah,
We can put it on one of their chassis.
I'd love to do that. Let's do it.
Well, if you guys want to do that and you're serious about it, let me know. I'll
Okay.
make sure it gets scheduled. We'll put you in the big room and we'll get whatever guest you want. Maybe we could get like Coley with like, I don't know, who like
Oh,
Who's
we should
someone,
have him
like,
do
famous
impersonations
right now.
Who's
Get
famous?
someone really cool.
Yeah,
Like a
I mean,
musician.
absolutely. We'd love to.
Combs.
Luke Combs. That would be awesome.
Or who uses an RV that's like famous?
You won't believe this, but remember Tom? What's his name?
Dick and Harry.
No, he was a comedian. Do you want some sausages?
Green?
Yes. He RVs.
Tom Green does?
Yeah. I was
Really?
gonna try to reach out to him to see if he'd want to do something just from a whim.
I love Tom Green.
But then I watched some
That's your next
videos.
millennial right there.
Man, the dude is in the videos that he was putting out, the dude's still just crazy as all get out. I love it. He's
The bum song. I love the bum song.
yeah. You ever seen? Well, we can't even say that on here. The name of the movie. Freddie got
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
blasted.
yeah.
The dad walks in. He's got this piano with sausages hanging from his fingers. Do you want some sausages?
You want some sausages?
Oh golly. Yeah, he
I love
RVs.
that.
If we can get
I
him,
need to
that'd be
watch that
great.
one again.
We can get the guy from Dirty Jobs out. That'd be awesome.
Mike
Ooh,
Rowe.
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe, yeah. I just
Mike
want to hear
Rowe.
his voice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, look, my battery's getting low. Hold on a second. I got to plug it in. Or you know what? It's been an hour. You want to
Been
split?
an hour.
Yeah. Brother, thank you so much for coming on.
thank
This
you.
was so much fun.
So much better this
Cool.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad we got to see you. I'm glad your the new green hair dye is really awesome. I love it. Love the
Right?
look.
So if people want to look at the
Thanks.
destination trail a little bit closer, where do they go?
Sorry, what did you say? My computer cut out there.
Hold on.
Here's his softball.
I better plug in my computer before it dies.
I said if someone wants to learn more about the destination trailer, where are you going to point them?
Oh, if they want to go more, lionsrv.com. That's the
we
best
go.
spot. Go to lionsrv.com and simply just click the benchmark. We have icons, we have buttons. You know how to navigate a website.
Available for sale
all the
now?
information
Or?
is there. We have another floor plan we're going to be dropping. The floor plan layout is on the website, but we have not shot content on it yet because there's still some little things they're fixing back and forth and discussing and making sure that floor plan's fully optimized for the Florida Super Show, which is coming up here very soon.
Some info just broke a couple days ago.
Well,
You guys are going to be bringing one of those to the Florida show.
so we should air this during that then, or right before that.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to space it out and figure out where we're going to put what. So this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see you at the Florida RV Super Show. We won't.
Yeah.
We're not able to go this year.
Yeah, I'm
commitments.
sad. You guys were fun there last year, having the RV Unplugged.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was a blast. I think you're going to Quartzsite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to Quartzsite. That's awesome. We're at Quartzsite too. We sent a couple people over there.
No, well, good.
Yeah, it's hard to be. Why are they at the same time?
I always said that the Florida Super Show should be in February.
That doesn't make a little more sense weather-wise in January too.
Yeah.
It makes more sense because there's two events going on at the same time.
Every once in a while, they're
opposite
a week
sides of the
off.
country, and we always run into pricing. It costs more to ship units out west, right? So pricing's a little bit different than shipping down to Florida.
Yeah, I can
Absolutely.
imagine. All right, brother. It was
All
good
right.
seeing you.
Good seeing you guys too. Hey,
Nice.
have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hey, Merry Christmas
Yeah.
to you.
Hey, YouTube thinks you'll like this video.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click this button here.
Do it now. Do it. Get to the chopper.